Hey gang, thank you for joining me today. First of all, if it sounds a little bit different, that is because I'm having to use the mic in my headphones. I've no idea where I've put my other mic that I usually wear. It's vanished. This has happened a couple of times to me in the last couple of weeks where I've misplaced something of like significant importance, and I'm getting on my own nerves. The ADHD is getting to me at the moment, like breathing through it, but feeling quite emotional about the whole ordeal, if I am honest. It's just infuriating to keep doing this to yourself. Thank you to those who voted on the community post that I put on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, basically I haven't uploaded this week because I managed to film in slow-mo. I managed to film the last video in slow-mo, and whilst like if you film in like normal filming, you can slow things down and speed them up really easily. If you film in slow-mo, it's really hard to speed it up to like a normal pace without distorting it completely. So that was really sad to notice that had happened. Like another really like silly, frustrating mistake that was probably to do with my ADHD. Just infuriating. So I put like just a little poll asking you guys what you were interested in seeing this week, like what you wanted me to try and film this weekend, and the options were like a general kind of like plant chores, like refilling my brain was thinking too quick. Refilling moss poles, like a general reset was what that was supposed to be. Another option was a Hoya collection tour, and then the recent import update, which when I last checked was the most voted for, so that's what I'm filming right now. So the import that we're talking about is the one from Green Spaces ID that I got earlier in earlier in December. I would say, where are we at now? I think it's the 10th today? It's the 11th of January, so I think we must be like a month of them being with me. And I'm not gonna lie guys, I mean I haven't done my best with these plants. Like I really haven't done my best. I'm gonna take my thumbs out. Like I really want to like the thumb holes, but sometimes they're a bit of a sensory like ache. Okay, yeah, so whilst I was really impressed with how the plants arrived in that import, like they looked really good, some of them are really struggling now, and I think that's partly down to me and my care, and also the weather. It's been really cold here in the UK. Like for us, I know it's not like the coldest of cold places, but it's been quite consistently cold, which is kind of unusual for us. I feel like throughout December and this beginning bit of January especially, we've had like dips of 0 quite a few times, which is like typically that from my memory hasn't really happened in recent years, whereas like the last week has been 0, maybe like highs of 2 during the day and like minus numbers at night, which is really uncommon for us. And this place does get cold, like we don't keep our heating on overnight. That's just, neither me or Steve have ever done that. We've never wanted to do that. And this morning, for example, I came in and the hygrometer on the shelf and in the cabinet were reading like 12.3 and 12.7, I think. And I was like, ooh, that's really cold. I don't think I've ever seen a hygrometer go down to 12 before in the apartment. So yeah, it's like some of these plants have definitely probably not done as well as they could have because of how cold it's been. And then I suppose even when you do put the heating on, like it rises to like, it's been like 20 in here at times, not just from the heating but maybe from the sun in the daytime. But then that kind of drop again in temperature probably isn't the best for these plants. So yeah, partly the cold, partly my care as to why they've not done amazing. So let's just get into showing you the plants. I wish I could remember what order I unboxed them in, because I try and do the updates in the same order. So first I want to update you on the Syngonium Chiapence variegata. I don't think this one has lost any leaves. I'm pretty sure it's still got all of the leaves it came with. I think they still feel the same. Like, I feel like this one hasn't really changed all that much. I know one of, like, the two older leaves were not looking the most healthy, and this one was still really, really new. It's definitely gotten like a bit firmer since being here. I really love the variegation on it. How stunning is that? I'm just going to pull the blind up a little bit. I pulled the blind down because I was being blinded, but I think the sun's kind of gone behind some clouds and you'll be able to see the plants a bit better. Like, look at all the colours. How cool is that? I think it's really happy. Like, I did wonder at one point whether there was something that was going to like pop out of this new growth point, but I don't think it is. I think it's just kind of there. I repotted it into like quite a mossy, soily substrate just because I was running a little bit low, and it seems happy enough. I don't think there are, oh no, there might, oh, it's really hard to see through these cups, but like, hang on. It's really hard to show you. There are like, these are some old roots here, and then just under my finger here, can you see? Oh, I think you can see. This looks like a new root to me, like it looks a little bit fuzzier. That's exciting. So yeah, Syngonium Chiapence variegata, doing well in my opinion. I'm feeling really paranoid that I'm filming in slow-mo, so I'm gonna pause and see. No, we're in normal filming. Okay, up next I'm going to show you this guy. This might have been the next one. This is the Anthurium. I think it's Papillolaminum blue crossed with a regal shields. No, regal shields is an alocasia. This has done really, really well. I've been really, really impressed. I thought it wasn't going to be happy. It has lost, like, here's a leaf here. I think that might be the first leaf it's lost. All of these older ones, like, they look a little bit sad, but not the most sad that they could look. And the one that's got like the more defining features is looking really, really good in my opinion. Got rid of that white patch. Like, I feel like when I filmed the original video it was getting so dark you couldn't really see the colouring, and I still don't know if this is really doing it justice. It's a really bluey, like oil slick green. Very, very cool colouring, and it's kind of like pillowy, like it's where the veining goes in, it is 3D-esque. And the colour of the back is beautiful. I think it is doing quite well. I haven't really got anything else to say on this one, I don't think. Let me see if I can see any roots, the way it's like glaring. So there's a little selection of old roots here, and somewhere down here, where did it go? It's just here. That is a new root starting to grow. I'm really happy about that. I haven't properly like looked at these plants until today, so like I'm glad to be doing it with you. Cutie, I really, really love it. Very happy that it's happy. Yeah, I really love this one. Little cutie. I hope it does okay. Now I really can't remember who was next. I'm just gonna go with this guy. This is the Piper Batman. It's still okay. It did have 3 strands of growth, and this one has died off. It was like a really teeny weeny little individual kind of plant. But these two seem okay. in another video I did recently, I wondered whether this new growth at the top here, this little bit, was going to do anything, and I don't know. It's not getting any bigger. I don't know if it is going to do anything, but it doesn't look like there's further deterioration on the other leaves, so I'm happy about that. It's such a cool plant. Oh, it's really, really bright now. The sun's quite blinding. I'm really happy with it. Look at the backs of those leaves. Hopefully you can kind of see that there's like fuzziness on them. That's very cool. And like, can you see the stem? Like, it almost looks like it's dead. I'm still really, really loving this plant. I'm so happy it's in my collection. I'm still feeling like a little bit scared of it, but I hope I can keep it happy. Whilst we're on Pipers, I'll just put it out there that the other one's dead. Gone. Couldn't save it. Yeah, I'm absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. It was so big and so beautiful, and it looked like it had shipped so well, but I just think the shock of the whole transition and the kind of like the cold, and I didn't completely know how best to acclimate it. I think it's dead. It's gone. I tried. It's gone. It is the one that I have a single node cutting in the spare room, and that has started growing. So like, whilst I'm devastated that that plant is dead and I feel awful, like don't know if anybody else gets this, like if you are somebody that imports plants and they don't do well, like do you feel awful that you've like forced them to come out of their like ideal environment where they live naturally and come here just to die? Like, I feel awful about it. Because I've got that little cutting that seems to be doing okay-ish next door, it doesn't feel quite as horrific as I think it would if I didn't have that. It still feels pretty bad though. Let's do a Hoya update. So this guy I was so impressed with how he came. He doesn't look like how he came. I can't completely remember what it looked like exactly, but I have chopped it up. And I don't think it's doing like awfully. Like, there's definitely some like really small new bits of root growth going on, but it's also really hard to show that because there's loads of moss down here, but there is some like new root growth. A part of this tendril has died back, and to be honest, the next node is like all the way down here, so I might chop off the rest of this tendril because nothing's going to grow out of this. The tip of it is dried, so there's not even like a chance for new growth to shoot out the end. So I might chop that and see if it encourages the next node down to start growing. But yeah, there's how many? 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 cuttings. I love it. This is the Hoya undulata, by the way, and honestly, I'm so surprised by I'm squinting so much, it's distracting me because it's bright. I'm so surprised by the texture of these leaves. Like, if you've never felt one, it's like a buttery leather. It's really, really soft. Like, especially the underneath. I could just like sit and caress this for ages, which is a weird thing to say. Not something I thought I'd say about a Hoya, but it's just so smooth. It's so smooth on the bottom. Like, it feels like a leather. It's stunning. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like, I'm a little bit worried. I mean, you can see like how old this trunk is. So I'm a little bit like, is new growth going to be able to kind of pop out of that? I don't know, but I guess we'll see. Fingers crossed. I love it anyway. Like, I'm hoping I can root it up and pop them all together. I love how like gnarly that looks. Like, it's just completely, it's completely wild. Such a beautiful Hoya. One of the other Hoyas that I got is not doing well at all, not even a little bit, probably dead. It's a Hoya Hypolasia, which I'm so sad about. I've got it in water now. It is a stick. It had the like long tendril with a couple of leaves on it, and the leaves just started dropping, like, and I don't know, with Hoya, when I've imported them before, it feels like it's either they don't bat an eyelid and they don't care, or they throw the biggest hissy fit, and it feels like that's what's happened with the Hypolasia. It feels like it was like, how dare you, I am going to die in the most dramatic way possible. It just started dropping all the leaves, and this morning I did have a little look at it, and the tendril felt like a stick basically. So I like chopped a section nearer the top and it was hollow, chopped a little bit further down, it was hollow, and yeah, we ended up right back down to the stump, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's hollow. Like, that was the end of the tendril, completely hollow. This is, I think, it's really hard to tell. There was some like almost, it was like yeah, like floral, like florist sponge. It's kind of like wrapped in that at the bottom. There might be another node under here, but I haven't like fully inspected it. But other than that, this is the only node. So it's already used one of its growth points for the original tendril. There might be the potential for another growth point to grow here. That's why I'm holding on to it. I did scratch off a layer of this stem here just to see if it was alive underneath, and it is, but it doesn't feel the most reassuring, so I don't know, that one might die, which I'm really sad about. Like, I really, like, the Hoya Hypolasia has been on my wish list for like as long as I've been really into Hoyas, which I know isn't that long, but really sad if it doesn't make it. I have just realised I might have got the Anthuriums a bit muddled. I might not have. This is why I do need to keep name tags, because I don't remember them completely. That one's either the red blue one, or it is a blue regal, and like this one's the opposite one, and I can't remember which. This one's not happy. It is really struggling. So I'm not sure which one it is, but it was the one that I really loved, and I've not been able to capture the colour of it on camera at all in different lights, and now the like pretty leaf is not the best. So obviously this one's died. Let's get rid of that one. The other leaves, they're not the happiest, obviously, but they don't look horrific. This was the newest one and my favourite. Is definitely struggling. I'm gonna see if there's any roots. I don't think there is. None that I can see yet. We can hope though, right? Yeah. No roots that I can see yet. I can see, like, at the top here, I don't know if it'll pick it up, but this is like a root that's green and it's starting to pop out, so it's obviously wanting to root. I think I'm going to put some of the moss a bit around that section just to encourage that a little bit more, because that'll be good if it could start rooting down there. There is another one, and I probably won't be able to. Can I show you this? without spilling. You see this here? That's another root growth point that is actively growing into the moss. So I'm hopeful that it will make a full recovery, but it is looking incredibly sad. It had that really gorgeous, like, I don't know, it was almost like a purpley, mauve-y, pinky shimmeriness to the leaf, and now it's looking a bit sad. But I'm hopeful that it will turn out to be happy and it'll be okay. I think, and again, it's just not been the most looked after or the best temperature for these plants. What I should say is, all of the ones I've shown you so far have been kept in my cabinet, which isn't dramatically, like, I don't add anything in. It's not weather stripped, there are no fans, there's no extra humidity in there particularly. I suppose it does change sometimes. So, like, for example, right now, out of the cabinet, it's 19.8 degrees and 52% humidity, and inside it is 18.8 degrees and 64% humidity. So there are differences in it sometimes, but I don't do anything to encourage those differences. And sometimes you'd think it'd be better in the cabinet, but sometimes it's not. Like this morning, it was colder in the cabinet than it was outside, supposedly. So yeah, there are grow lights in there, but that's all I do to, like, try and shift the environment. I don't know if I kind of, like, showed you I really like the veining on the back of this one. It's just quite stark. I love the veining all over on this one, but it just, like, how the red goes all the way down to the bottom. And yeah, it's so frustrating that it doesn't capture the real colour of it on camera. Like, it's such an interesting veining colour. Who next? I'm gonna go with this guy next. Oh. So the clementiorum, I mean, that thing was wild. I'm pretty sure I've got, like, a photo or a clip of when I unpackaged it, and I'm sorry I didn't do it with you guys. I ended up doing it over the course of a few days. I just wasn't, like, the thought of doing it all in one day, like in one sitting, was really, really daunting, so I had to do it over a few different days, which is why I didn't film it with you. But when I unwrapped this one, it just, like, it was just wild, like long tendrils, like it was all off of one, but it, like, split into a couple of others. You're not in the water. I might shift these Hoyas out of water soon. I just wanted to hydrate them, and I have had good luck with rooting Hoyas in water before, but this one, there's not really anything going on. So basically I chopped it at all the nodes and put all of those ones into water here. There was a load of, like, single nodes that had no leaves, and they were, like, really long tendrils, so I did chop some of those up and put them into, like, a little kind of propagation box. I did check on them before filming, and they're not looking good, and I wasn't expecting them to look good because the stem is so, like, old, and, like, it's just so mature that I wasn't expecting them to be able to, like, push out roots or grow, but I thought I'd give them a chance. It didn't feel right just to put them all in the bin straight away. So yeah, this is the Hoya clementiorum. I don't think there's any roots growing on any of it. Let me see if I can pull. These ones feel easier to pull out than the angulata. No. I don't know if you'll be able to see. There are, where did it go? There are some new roots forming just here, which is exciting. I think I will do something with those today, even if I put them into, like, palm or maybe fluval or something. Like, it might be a bit happier. There might even be a new growth point on that one, which would be amazing. Let's go with the last, I think, Anthurium. This one's really been put through the ringer. It immediately started yellowing one of the older leaves, so I chopped that off. This is the end of that stem because I chopped it, and then it started immediately yellowing. I mean, how perfectly yellow is that? Started immediately yellowing this one, which I obviously haven't removed yet. Wow, isn't that a stunning yellow? This is the kind of leaf that I'd like to make a leaf skeleton out of, but you guys, I've literally got like a jar, well not a jar, but like a container of old dried leaves that I'm like, oh, that'll make a really nice leaf skeleton, and I don't do anything with them. So I either need to do something with them or stop collecting them. But like, how good would that look? I mean, even just pressed, it's such a beautiful colour. But it's like perfect. Like, it's got the tip, it's got a couple of little nicks in it, but that would, there's a freaking aphid on it, for fuck's sake. Look at that little shit. I know that corner. So this guy hasn't been in the cabinet. It's been sat outside. It wouldn't fit in the section of the cabinet. I am gonna try and make a leaf skeleton out of that. The corner that this one sat in has had aphids, but when I last checked it, it didn't have any aphids. But obviously that yellow leaf does have some. And I recently learnt from Rose, and that she'd recently learnt it and shared it in one of her videos, that apparently aphids can be born pregnant, like just ready to go. Like, they are born ready to reproduce. So that's not great. I had a couple of aphids rock into my home in the summer, and I haven't managed to completely eradicate them from that little corner. I found loads on my Dioscorea elephantites last night. Devastated, cut off a few vines of that. Okay, I can't see any others, but I don't for 1 minute think it's clean of aphids. But anyway, so yeah, it's immediately lost some leaves. This one is not looking like, that guy's on its way out too, isn't it? That's not nice and green. And this one doesn't look particularly healthy either. I will admit, it doesn't feel very heavy, and there are definitely some unhappy roots in here. I think I'm gonna have to repot this. Like, these roots look really dry. There is some green bits. Where did the green bits go? Like, there's some green roots in there, and it even looks like there are some bits, where did it go? Like, this root here looks like it's tried growing, so I'm definitely gonna have to pull that out and have a look at it. Also, it's really sad. So when we were taking down the Christmas decorations, Steve was like taking one off of a shelf and something else fell down, and it fell down kind of like onto this pot, and I was like, have you just snapped the new growth on that plant? And he like had a look, picked up the thing that's fallen down. He's like, no, I think it's fine. A little while later I went over to have a look, and lo and behold, the growth had snapped off. I did pull the like new bit of the leaf out, but didn't have the heart to like rummage around in it too much, so just gonna see kind of what's going on underneath. That's so sad. So one of the leaves that, oh, you're not going to be able to see it. I'll see if I can take a photo for you, but basically one of the leaves that is lost must have been the new one, and then the new growth that was coming out, or no, hang on, maybe that's where the new growth was, and then it's also snapped the top of the caterpillar off for the next new bit of growth. So yeah, really, this one's probably the most unhappy, I would say. Definitely need to do something with that. The next two, the last two, I think, unless I've forgotten anybody, but I'm pretty sure these are the last two. I feel a little bit embarrassed about the state that they're in because I've not really done anything with them. But let's just be real about how I'm keeping things. This is that one that I can't pronounce. Obviously I'm trying to keep it in a humid space. Ooh, I haven't taken this out of here in a few days, but I should have, because there's a little bit of like fluffy mold going on that drying bit. But this has done so much better than I thought it would have, especially with the other Piper dying. Like, this has done really, really quite well. Right, hang on, let me pull that out and we can pull this out. Ooh. I need to change the water in this, it's absolutely disgusting. So something leuconeura, not O, leuconeura, and it's still looking pretty good, I think, considering, like, that's the lowest leaf, and then we've got this one that for some reason insisted on flopping that section down. Got this one that was a little bit deformed anyway, and then this top one was pristine when it arrived, but it started developing this little brown patch, which is the section that seems to develop like a little bit of a fuzzy mold when I don't give it enough air ventilation. So when I unpacked this one, I was a little bit confused as to what I was looking at, because it's like attached to this turd. And I started trying to like pick it away, thinking that maybe it was like growing on this thing, but I don't know, like, do they, like, if they're in the wild, do they get really fat chunky stems? Because when I was picking away at it, it was like I don't know, it almost looks like it's just kind of grown off of it, like it was a growth point that's like emerged from it. It has got some little roots here. They don't look they don't look the healthiest, but there's also definitely, you see this little lighter section here? That's a new root. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just keep this thing attached to this? Like, I don't know what this is. Like, look at the texture of this. Like, what? There's another new root starting to grow here. Like, what is this? I don't understand. I think I'm just gonna end up potting it up with it attached to it, because it's not like, it's not rotting. It's pretty solid. And it's just been chilling in water for ages. Like, I feel like I should do something with it. I'm a little bit scared to, like, I think I'm gonna have to really slowly acclimate this down to kind of normal humidity levels, because I don't want this to be in an enclosed container. But yeah, it's cute. I feel like it's got lots of potential. It's not needed much from me, other than for me to keep giving it some air. But yeah, I just don't really know what I'm doing with this at the bottom. Okay, last but not least, I'm embarrassed about the state that it's in, because I've basically not done anything with it since I unboxed it with you guys. It has sat like this for a month. I've chucked some water in there. But yeah, I've not done anything with this guy. This is the other one that I can't pronounce the name of. I'm not even going to bother trying. I don't know. Like, there's definitely some alive roots in here. Look, I can see one here. I don't think, has it lost any more leaves? I don't think it's lost any more leaves since I unpacked it. It did lose a lot of leaves in transit, didn't it? It did really struggle. It was like freaking confetti falling out of that floof when I was unpacking it, but it seems absolutely fine. I haven't seen any more mealybugs on it. going to do like another little thorough check here. Yeah, no other mealybugs on it, and the leaves that it does have, it's really holding on to. I think it's been doing a bit of growing. Like, I feel like this one's kind of new. There's two new ones kind of in here, but they're not easily showable to you. This is the slightly like greener side. But again, both this point and this point's got new growth. It seems quite happy, considering I've literally done nothing with it. I did like put it in, like I put it in a little tower pot with the intention of like repotting it into here, and I just haven't done that yet. I need to do it soon. Maybe I'll do it when I do the Anthurium. Yeah, so those are all the imports. That's how they're doing. I am quite pleased. Like, I think considering the environment and the time of year and just what I've had on myself, just in terms of it being December, that's like a trickier month. Like, I do struggle with kind of the expectations with socializing. I feel quite grumpy and down on myself, and work's always a bit tricky. Like, it's, you know, it's not unusual for work, like I'm a mental health nurse, so it's not unusual for work to be a little bit extra busy because people do struggle at this time of year. So there's that, and then, you know, everyone wants to see you, which is lovely, but I don't have the capacity to see people a lot anyway, let alone at Christmas. So I haven't had a lot of energy to care for my plants, so I've just kind of needed them to like get by. And obviously fresh imports, they probably need a little bit more from me than the bare minimum to survive the import process, which I think is, I mean, the Piper Wullung, that, like, one minute it seemed fine and then the next it was like wilted spinach, and then I tried doing some like wet sticks and it just absolutely conked. It was gone. And the Hypolasia, I don't think that's going to survive. But I'm pleased with how everyone else is doing, so fingers crossed everyone else just keeps rooting, starts pushing out some new growth, and they are happy. I think maybe, it really depends. What I was going to say is maybe nearer like the spring, like the middle of spring, I might actually place an order with Green Spaces ID and order another one of the Piper Wullungs, and probably a few other bits as well, because there's no way I'm just importing one plant. That was what I was going to say, but I paused because me and Steve may actually potentially be moving at that point. So obviously I don't want to be importing plants to then have to move them again and like have the stress of all of that. So we'll see, but I would really like to order from them again. I think I was really impressed with how everything's turned out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've got any questions about any of these. If you've got any tips on any of these, that would be grand as well. I would love to hear them. I hope you're doing well and looking after yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.